What's up? Welcome to episode 37 of the RUDIS Wrestling Podcast. Matt, it's my first show in my home studio. I got the RUDIS logo up finally. Everything feels good, ready to rumble. And man, we have a lot of wrestling to talk about.
Let's just jump into
Boom,
it.
go.
Glad you're
125.
settled into the own house. Let's roll.
125. I think obviously the story here is Rivera Lee. I don't think there's much else to talk about, in my opinion. Sebastian gets it done again. I guess with the assistance of maybe a questionable call, the hands of the face in the third period. Although, by now,
Yeah, let's get your take on that right off the
it's
gate, because that's really what it came down to, the trading off of two different hands in the face.
no, one was called and one wasn't. And I thought, okay, so let's start off. I think it's a stupid rule. I think we've discussed the fact that we both think it's a stupid rule. I think when Lee pushed off Rivera's face in the underhook situation, it was a very clear hands to the face. I thought Rivera was up on Spencer's forehead in overtime. And I think the rule is eyebrows to chin, right? So by the letter of the law, Rivera didn't break the rules and Lee did. Now, if it's my choice, I do away with the rule entirely, which would then mean that Spencer wins the match.
Yeah, I'm with you. Or if nothing else, make an adjustment where it's you get a warning first instead of an automatic 1 point.
I'm good with that too.
So I think you're probably going to see an adjustment there. But yeah, I mean, either do away with the rule or use some discretion. Do it like the stall. Give them a warning, and then if it happens again, ding them for a point. What are your thoughts about? It's funny how it's evolved over the course of the season, where now coaches are actually calling
for it
for a review.
Well, you have. I mean,
right?
you almost have to, right? I mean, listen, these guys are trying to, whether we like it or not, whether they like the rule or not. At the end of the day, their disdain for the rule does not outweigh their desire to win a national title, and so they're going to use the rule. It's simple.
And you have to. You can't be so tied to principle as a coach saying, I think this is a horrible rule. It's going to ruin matches. Yeah. It's going to do this and that. I mean, you're cutting your nose to spite your face. Yeah. I mean, it's there. You might as well take advantage of it before they change it. So it is what it is at this point in the season. Yeah. And we kind of called it all year long. The other thing is going to have a big effect.
The other thing they're thinking, Matt, is if the roles were reversed, the other team's calling for it. So exactly. you almost have to. I mean, if you don't throw the block on that and then it happens the other way 10 seconds later, the other team's calling for it. It's really that simple. So hey, let's outside of the rules, the wrestling was phenomenal. I think this showed again that Sebastian Rivera can absolutely go with Spencer Lee, despite the fact that it went to overtime because of the hands of the face call. He gets the takedown in overtime. And this sets up a huge. I mean, man, I told you before the show I didn't want to get into seeding criteria, but I think this puts them at 1-4. I think it does.
I
don't think there's any other way to do it. And the other thing that does, I think it puts Ronnie Bresser at 5. And Ronnie Bresser, if you look at what is the mix that gives Spencer Lee trouble, Ronnie Bresser has it. So Spencer Lee's going to have to prove to us that he's the freaking man at nationals, because he's got a tough road to hoe. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, because stylistically, to your point, I mean, if it plays out like we're saying, and I know we don't want to talk seeds too much, but now stylistically, he's got 2 really, really difficult matches in the quarters and the semis with Bresser, and then Rivera again.
So the reason both Matt and I are saying that is Rivera does have 1 loss, but it's up weight, so that doesn't factor in because he lost to Stevan Micic. You got Rivera, you got Piccininni, and you got, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Oh, Jack Mueller, all undefeated. So Spencer's got 3 losses. He's got to go at number 4. Yeah,
you almost have to.
So we're going to see this match again in the semis. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, any other thoughts on 25? Because that was one of the less exciting brackets, if you will, at the Big Tens.
Yeah, I think the rematch lived up to the billing. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought Spencer Lee wrestled really good. That counter offense in overtime was unbelievable
beastly
by Rivera.
Yeah,
unbelievable. I mean, he looked dead to rights, and Lee is so powerful typically in those positions. I mean, he had Rivera's hips buckled. He had his
Yes,
hips
I
buckled and
agree.
he was
I
just
agree. Wow.
yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Okay, 33. This one we get the heat started in the quarters here. So, let's go Pletcher, Bravo, Young first. I think this threw a whole big bucket of water on the Bravo Young fire because Pletcher just totally different match than they had at the dual meet. Wins. I don't want to say fairly convincingly, but I didn't think it was that competitive. Um,
No, I mean, completely controlled
yeah,
him. I mean,
absolutely.
you wouldn't say it was a dominant performance, but he
Well,
controlled the entirety of the
yeah, I mean,
match.
he gives up the first takedown, but got an escape really fast, and really after that, it's takedown, near fall takedown. I mean, it wasn't very competitive after that, and I don't think Bravo Young was very close to any other takedowns.
No, not really.
So,
So, I mean, good adjustments by Pletcher. Great tournament. Obviously, he's the beneficiary of Micic defaulting to him. But you can't take away from how well he wrestled the entire tournament.
yeah, and that this match turns out to be even bigger because then, which we didn't know, but Stevan Micic uh, forfeits in the semis. And I don't know why. I put it out on Twitter, Matt, and I got roasted because everyone thought I was talking about. I got too many MMA fans. I was talking about Stipe Miocic, which had you put an O in there. You got Miocic from Micic. I didn't get a good answer. I don't know what happened to him. Someone, they said he was wearing a knee brace, but um, if you're asking me, this is a effing disaster for the seating committee because I don't know what you do. You can't just sit out matches and expect to get the same seed. That
Yeah, and then I mean, I think I posed it to you last night. I mean,
I
so
don't know what you do.
when you're the seating committee, like where do you fall? Where do you
You have
prioritize? Do you really
you have
do you
to,
discount the guy's body of work as opposed to I
but
mean, it's a tricky
you can't
balance.
set
I
but
mean,
you can't
he's
set the president that you could just win matches and then sit out and then be done with it.
true. I mean, I guess it comes back to in a similar fashion the injury rule and the way they changed the injury rule because so many guys were taking
Yeah.
advantage of the system and gaming the system. They implemented that rule. It's a choice to the opposite man if you call it injury time. This is kind of a similar thing, right?
Yes.
Like where do you actually how can you actually document the severity of someone's injury and what's your rationale for pulling out or making that move? I think we've got that discussion later on at 184
Yeah.
about what happens there when a guy decided, to wrestle through to the finals as
So
opposed
weird.
to, you know, it's just it's a tough
Matt,
thing.
yeah,
I mean, it's you
frankly, I
feel
don't listen. I don't get it, and I didn't miss one match of high school or college, and I get that there's real injury. I really do get it. But when you wrestle that far, I mean, Mitchik only had one match, so that's not that bad. But like, um, you're referencing Shakur. He wrestles all the way to the finals. Look fine. I watched the semifinal match. I thought he looked really good. How hurt could he possibly be? I
and this
mean,
goes
come
I
on.
mean
He looked
then
great. If you would have said is Shakur hurt, I would have said no. He looks great.
and this goes all the way back, about 10 years now with Dustin Slater when he was ranked number 1, blew his knee out. Everybody knew he had blown his knee out and you're like, "What do you do?" He went out and just defaulted
Yeah.
both matches. And then I think Micic, there's been some, corrections from that decision by Minnesota about 10 years ago to what Nolf did last
Yep.
year, and how that affected his seed at the tournament. Micic, they obviously thought was at least important enough that he can wrestle, right? He went out and wrestled a
Yes.
match, so he proved that he can do it. So there should be some doubt removed in people's mind, like, is he good to go at all? Well, he showed he could, but then he defaulted out of the tournament. Yeah, it's a tough thing to do. I don't know.
Yeah, man. They got some work to do. No one's gonna be everyone's gonna be pissed. Let's go. Let's go other side of the bracket. Suriano, Lizak, quarterfinals. Suriano hammers him. Not super competitive. You want to talk about it or no?
I mean, my thing with Suriano the whole weekend that impressed me was he was initiating his
Yeah.
attacks. And I think we have talked about
Yep.
this in the past in big time matches. He's always waiting, right? He's always waiting for
Yep. He's a
something
better
to happen for a counterattack.
better reattacker.
He was on the hunt all weekend, which really impressed me. He was going out to score his points, not relying on his counter offense, which is spectacular.
Yeah. You know what? I know a lot of people don't like Suriano. I kind of like his little jersey routine. I love it. I think it's funny. I like that it pisses people off.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't take anything for
No,
sure, and he's
he
consistent
doesn't
with
take
it.
no crap
Like,
from no one. I love it. I love it. Okay, so then he goes on. He gets payback on Austin DeSanto in the semifinals. Another match that was um I don't want to say not close because he did, it was 4-3 until the last second, but DeSanto really didn't get a takedown, and he got the hands of the face call. He got the stalling call, both of which I thought were, I don't know, they were okay calls, but that's
yeah, I mean,
essentially what made
it's
it close. DeSanto didn't really sniff a takedown.
no, and what really, what impressed me about Suriano here, he really inserted himself and dictated the tempo of the match, and I think stylistically it's just a little he's really fundamentally sound, and he stays in such great position that it looked like he was really giving DeSanto fits.
Yes.
Like DeSanto, despite his pressure, wasn't able to open him up differently than what he was able to. This is what surprised me about DeSanto when he was able to impose his
Well,
will
I
on
mean, okay, hold
Fitz,
on.
that he
So
wasn't able to do it against
let me
Soriano.
say this on the DeSanto thing. I think it comes down to Suriano getting that first period takedown, and ride out is what it comes down to me, because in the dual meet it was much closer, and you had the Iowa crowd calling for the stalling, and what he got 2 stalling points in that match. Or 3 2, he
Yes.
got 2. And so that was what made it so competitive, and they got to take them in, and frankly, in this one, he does get 2 penalty points again, but without the Iowa crowd there, it just wasn't it didn't seem to have the same effect on Nick Suriano and the referees. If that's
No,
fair.
I mean that. Yeah, I think you're exactly right, and that's a testament to home field advantage and wrestling in a neutral site,
Yeah.
and how it can kind of even things out or level the playing field a little bit from an emotional standpoint. Um,
So
although some people would probably argue that, but
let's go, finals, and then I wanna hit the wrestlebacks are important in this one too. Um
yep.
Suriano, Pletcher. I think Suriano wins this like 99 out of 100 times. I just don't think Pletcher has the ability to go get to Suriano. Is there anything here you want to hit, or can we go to the?
No, I mean he as good as Pletcher wrestled throughout the tournament, he was just really wasn't able to open up Soriano at all. Really put him in danger, put him at risk. So I mean, yeah, close match, 4-1, but Soriano pretty much controlled it throughout.
Nice. Okay, so then the DeSanto Bravo Young match. This is one I kind of felt like Bravo Young was gonna go get him. That's what I felt like. And Austin DeSanto, for what it's worth, pretty much torches him. I mean, 4 takedowns in the first period. Um, it kinda gets tired a little bit at the end, but man, he kinda kicked his butt.
He did. I mean, you've got to give DeSanto credit, and believe me, we hear all the other peripheral conversations going on about his antics and this and that, but I tell you what, there's no doubt that this guy has improved over the course of this entire
Uh,
year.
e
Like,
so, actually, I'm gonna I was gonna that was a question I was gonna pose to you. You brought it up a little earlier than I thought, Matt, but so, when we get to his 3rd place match, you said, he's improved. Um, he does give up the ride out against Bravo Young. He gives up the ride out in the first period against Suriano. He gets ridden forever against, I wanna say it was like 4.5 minutes against Ethan Lizak. So, are those issues, we thought that issue kinda had been solved from that bottom issue, because that was his big issue last year. Are those issues coming back to haunt him now? And is that something that people are looking at now and saying, I see this, I'm going to take advantage of this at nationals? Because that bracket, the 133 bracket's got a lot of great riders in it.
yeah, I mean, I'll give DeSanto credit that it's obvious he's put a lot of effort into top and bottom.
Yes.
Something a year ago or even in high school that, he was pretty much an on your feet type of guy.
Yeah.
Was very much just a neutral guy last year
Yep.
at Drexel. This year, you can see it every match, a concerted effort to go down and a concerted effort to ride the guy. But at what point do you say, okay, we've got to make a change in going down? We've taken the entire season to invest, to get better, to get
Yeah.
more proficient. At what point do you say, okay, there's work to be done. There's still work to be done. It's better off left alone until next year.
Well, for what it's worth, Lizak did choose top. So, um,
And he is a
he's a
beast.
beast. So he
Don't
chose
right.
top, but he does get Bravo Young, he chose bottom on and got ridden out. And then he got ridden out that first period, which, hey, if he gets an escape against Nick Suriano and doesn't, give up a minute 20 ride time, then that's gonna be a serious, that's gonna be a serious issue for him. So okay. So DeSanto at number 4 in the Big Ten moves down significantly. Because really you really got him as he's gonna be the number 5 seeded guy probably in the Big Ten because Stevan Micic is probably gonna bump up above him.
I mean,
Yeah,
this is going to be a
let's not.
really interesting one. Well,
Yeah, let's
let's say
pass. Let's
that.
pass.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, 41, and another bracket that's on fire. Mikey Card, number 1 seed, has he got a rough go. He drops all the way down to number 8, loses to Chad Red. Chad Red at number 8 makes the finals. Wow.
I mean, the tale of 2 tournaments, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all year long, people. I mean, Carr's been kind of flying under the radar. He didn't wrestle a couple big time matches, and Chad Red, off his All American performance, just didn't seem to find his footing all year, and then comes out like wildfire and storms to the finals.
Yeah. I mean, so I was a little disappointed that and I'm biased, I've said that, that's fine. Tristan Moran was beating Kanan Storr with about 20 seconds left in that match, ends up getting reversed, which then reversed the ride time. And so, he could have made the semis against Chad Red, but Kanan Storr makes it. And Chad Red looked really good all weekend, except the finals. And Joey McKenna sometimes makes scramblers look really bad, which is what Chad Red relies on. And Joey McKenna did in this match. He makes them look really bad. McKenna.
Yeah, those next level scramblers can give McKenna problems.
Really just
really good,
Yanni. But even Ironman, who I would say is one of the best scramblers in the country, does not have success against Joey McKenna. Just one guy, which is Yanni. And that's really, even Nick Lee doesn't do well in those scrambles against Joey McKenna. The answer is nobody except for Yanni, really.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm a Chad Red guy.
You are?
I really like. I like him a lot. I like him as a person.
Okay.
like
I don't know him as a person.
some things about him, and
But
I was happy to see that he was finally wrestling to the ability that we know he's capable of, what he showed last year. So I know he's been getting pounded on all year.
His record was 16-10 this year.
This is true.
So not very good.
So for me, just liking the individual, just on his personality alone, I was happy to see it.
Okay.
But yeah, really flip this. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be all those people talking about Michael Carr being the number 1 sead, right?
But he deserved. I mean, okay,
on paper,
but
by the criteria,
he deserved it, and he did sit out the one duel. So, they probably have to re-examine if people are sitting out duels. But that's a tough one because if there's a real injury, a real legitimate injury, it's tough to not take that into account. Okay, so McKenna, and I think you and I both called this. McKenna gets revenge on Nick Lee, gets 2 takedowns in the first period, doesn't give up a takedown. I think that's how this bout goes moving forward. I mean, I just don't.
I think so.
That's what it looks like.
I mean, it's always, I don't know how it is for you, but it's also always fascinating to me to see the adjustments from match 1 to match 2.
Yes.
And consequently match 2 to possibly match 3 then get really interesting. But McKenna made adjustments. I mean, he was just clinical all weekend.
Yeah.
Just clinical. Just really wrestled clean, really wrestled controlled, dominated pretty much I didn't see him in danger at all the entire weekend.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so Nick Lee comes back strong, finishes third place. I think this is going to put a 2-3 McKenna Lee. I don't really see a scenario where oh my gosh, Nick Lee. I'm sorry, Jade Ironman bumps up above Nick Lee. I don't really see that happening. So I think we're going to see McKenna and Lee in the semis. Is that agreed?
Yeah, it's looking that way.
So
Yeah, it's definitely
and
looking that way.
I would expect the same type of match we saw the first time. Okay, 149. We got Ashnault, Jordan. I don't think there's too much else exciting to talk about. So I thought Michael Jordan had him. I thought he had him. And I do owe you 50 push-ups on this match too. P.S. And I'm gonna kind of yell at freaking Anthony Ashnault because Anthony, you got a cradle, roll that sucker over, and and Matt's got to do some push-ups. I don't know why you're not turning that thing over. It's pretty simple. Jeez.
Yeah, so a couple I mean, this is another really good match. But in a way, is there some doubt in Ashnault's mind after walking away with the 2 victories he has over Micah this year at the Las Vegas and then Big
let's
Ten
see.
finals? Is there something in his head?
I want to say no.
Wow,
I want to say no.
You don't think
Man,
so?
after what happened at the end there, because I was saying, I literally said to someone, I was watching with one of our high school wrestlers, and it looks like Ashnault's dead. Like he's done. I'm like, he's done. He's gonna give up this takedown. And he just finds a way to get it done. So I think there's that thing in his head where he's like, I don't know how I'm gonna get it done. I know I'm gonna get tired, but I'm gonna freaking get it done. And that's the way I felt after this match. And I listen, if you ask me, Matt, this question with 45 seconds left in the third period, I'm giving you the opposite answer.
And I'm going to be the devil's advocate. I'm going to say it's absolutely in his head. There's going to be pressure there. Can he actually do this 3 times in a row? Because there's been a lot of things. And again, he made his own breaks for the most part, but he knew he wasn't going to get a 10 spot in the first 2 minutes of the match like he did in Las Vegas. He ends up getting a couple takedowns. There appears to be, when Micah takes him into deep waters, that there's some doubt in his mind. He looks like he gets tired, and it's not just against Jordan. He's done it a number of times. I thought Micah made a classic young guy mistake.
Micah can't make a young guy mistake, man. He's a redshirt senior.
I know.
It's impossible.
I know, which upset me because he has him on the ropes. He takes him down twice. I'm like, this match is over. Get back to your feet, take him down again.
Yeah.
And what
does
he
he's in, but he's in on the takedown. He's in on the double. Then he switches off to the single. And listen, I love the scramble that Anthony Ashnault used to cradle him. I didn't think he had it. I'm usually pretty good at judging whether people have the ability to win that scramble or not. I thought Michael Jordan was done. I thought he finished him. I thought the takedown was over. And somehow Ashnault pops up and he cradles him. I was really shocked by it. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I guess the sequence I'm talking about, when Micah decided to cut him, he didn't cut him on his head. And
you're talking about earlier when he gets the reversal.
Yeah, earlier. Okay. The sequence before that when he got the reversal. Okay. In that situation, I mean, you pounded into your guy's head. For me, number one, in that situation, when I know there's blood in the water, you've taken the guy down twice, the guy's on the ropes, I wouldn't even worry getting back in referee's position. I would have gone right to your feet. Because you're talking about clock watching too. You're talking about time management.
Yep.
If you cut a guy from the referee's position, the guy's going to take his time getting up. He's probably going to take 3 or 4 steps to the out of bounds line. He turns and faces Micah. Micah shoots. They go out of bounds. All of a sudden, you waste 10 to 15 seconds as opposed to starting in neutral, giving the signal we're going to start on our feet. And then Ashnault has to engage. He can't be backing up. And, I was.
But how about that last sequence, though? I mean, it sure looked like Mike had him dead to rights in that last sequence.
I really thought so. I mean, it reminded me to the 25-pound match where I thought Lee had him dead to rights. I thought Micah was in position. It's like, this is this is where he wants to be. It's not a perfect position, but he's where he wants to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So wow. I don't think so. I think Anthony Ashnell's pretty comfortable. So I think the question here is Matt Kolodzik loses again, which I believe is now his 4th loss of the year. How far does he move down? I think it's got to be a
I
ways because
mean,
he lost to the Drexel kid, and now he loses to Jared Prince, who he's not bad, but he's not even ranked.
yeah.
He's got
Yeah, I mean, Prince has had some results in the past, and maybe um maybe it's a thing. No, it's not that because the Drexel kid hadn't really wrestled him before. I was gonna
yeah.
say, does familiarity with your opponent open up better opportunities? But he hadn't wrestled the Drexel guy before. He got beat. He's beaten Prince, I think, every time they've wrestled. So this had to be unexpected. I think it slides him down to the 4 or the 5, which puts him ironically with Ashnell,
You
which
think it
you thought the winner.
could it possibly move him lower than that? I mean, okay, so let's go rankings. Let's go real, and we see we're not gonna get into this, but you're gonna go Ashnell Micah 1-2, correct? Because okay,
Yes,
so you're gonna go
for
Ashnell
sure.
Micah 1-2. So Fine Silver wins conference, beats Austin O'Connor. Brock Mahler wins conference. Brock Mahler only has 2 losses. Clodzik's got 4 now. I mean, if that is that you bump those 2 above him and he's all the way down to 5, but then do you go Gefeller wins conference? I guess Gefeller lost to Clodzik, so there's no way. So probably you're probably right 4 or 5. So I'm talking for
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah, Fine Silver, great season. I don't think he's got any huge signature wins. I mean, Ashnell, Jordan, Kolodzik, they all have a good body of work. They all have good quality wins. I don't see him going. I could see Kolodzik slipping to 5. I don't see him going to
Yeah,
6 though.
yeah.
So either way, it's probably looking like an Ashnell Kolodzik semi, which we didn't think was going to happen before the weekend. We kind of thought, the winner,
Yep.
the winner at Big Tens was going to have maybe a clearer
Which
path to the
almost is
finals.
nice for
Now
Micah, huh?
it kind of is. I mean, it works out well for
Yeah.
him.
Wow. Okay. Sometimes that's how things work out, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's follow up 157. Great. I mean, it's essentially Nolf's next topic, but I think there was a bunch of awesome matches in this bracket. I mean, all the way to the quarters. Pantaleo Caleb Young was a good match. Blythe over Ryan Deacon. That in overtime, that match was bonkers. The Minnesota crowd was going nuts. Keyshawn lost in the first round on I don't even know what he was doing. He was trying to do something ridiculous and pulled the guy back and then ended up in a cradle and ended up getting pinned. Well, I don't know. What do you want? Which match do you want to talk about? There's so many I could talk about on here.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Pantaleo wrestled really, really good all tournament
Yeah. I mean,
and coming back for third. I was impressed with him all
yeah,
weekend.
the problem with this podcast, Matt, is it makes me put my foot in my mouth all the time. Because after the last Deacon Pantaleo match, do you remember that? When Pantaleo took him down, I want to say 3 or 4 times in the first 2 periods. And then Deacon just came back and just gassed him, just totally gassed him. I said, wow, I don't know if there's any way Pantaleo's ever beaten Deacon again. And then not only does he beat him,
Yeah.
he hammers him. I mean, just beats him down the whole way.
Yeah, so I mean, so it just seems like from what we're seeing here, if outside of Nolf on a given weekend, you think that Pantaleo's the second guy, and I'm gonna have to eat my words here too because
Well, what'd
all
you say?
all year I've kind of been leaning towards Deacon all year, thinking at the end of the day it's going to be Nolf and Deacon. I don't know. I mean, Deacon definitely didn't wrestle his best. I mean, getting beat by Bleeze, but coming back and kind of
Yeah.
hammering Bleeze for fifth. But he didn't look real good in his Consi semi match either. Deacon losing
No, I
that.
mean, he
So
didn't look very good all weekend, really. I mean, Blythe, that's a loss you 100% did not expect. Um, Yeah, and this I think we said that 2 through whatever you shake them up and you get it a whole bunch of different ways. Man, I'm blanking on the ACC result. I'm gonna look it up real quick just so we know.
it's Hidley, right?
Well, it's Hidley and
Hidley,
Romani. I just don't. I'm not recalling
yeah.
who won right now. Let's
It
see.
was Hidley. I can't recall the score.
Okay, hold on.
Let me look it up here.
Oh, I'm gonna beat you. I think I'm hustling to it.
Yeah, I think you got
Okay,
me.
final result. We got 157. We got Hidlet 8-2 over Romani. So we're gonna go what? Probably Nolf 1, Burger 2, Hidley 3, Pentelio 4, Deacon 5 is probably gonna be the seeding because Larry Early lost to Jarrett Jocks in the MAC finals. Um Keyshawn, who was ranked 6, he lost to a bunch of people. Yeah. So I think that's how you're gonna go. Okay. Oh man, we got fun to talk about at
I mean,
165.
do you want to say anything about Nolf and Berger? I
Not
mean,
really. Nolf next topic.
he's unbelievable. I
He's
mean,
so
he's
good.
just so dominant.
Yeah, he's just so good
Um,
that it's almost like I don't know. We can't really get into the weeds on that because it's not it's not that worth discussing. It's never gonna be a thing.
and what's so impressive? I mean, what's so impressive that Berger is so clearly trying to do everything he could to shut Nolf down, and Berger's a really good wrestler. And despite every attempt to keep him at bay, you can't stop the guy.
Yes, you cannot stop the guy. Can't stop him. I mean, the thing about it, man, and we've talked about this very well. I'm trying to skip ahead and not get into Jason Nolf, but he just does everything well, and that's the kind of guy you can't
Yeah,
stop. You can't just say, "Oh, he only has a great single leg. I'm going to protect my left leg." Oh, he only has a great front headlock. I'm not going to get snapped down. Oh, he's only good on top. I'm not going to choose bottom. Like, no, he just does everything well, everything. So you can't just
yeah,
try. You can't just try to do. Oh, I'm just going to do this or I'm just going to do that. It's just not how it works. He does everything well.
yeah.
Okay, 165. This bracket's fire. Um, let's just skip right to the final. Marinelli, kind of hammers Vincenzo Joseph. I didn't see this one coming. I actually bet I bet the same kid I was watching the match with earlier that Marinelli was going to win, but not in the way he did. He kind of beat his ass. I mean, there's just no way
I
around it.
mean, dominant,
Oh, how do you
dominant.
see this one
And
coming? Because I
so,
complained to you after the Marinelli semifinal, like, how does Marinelli get away with doing nothing for the whole? I mean, he gets one takedown on Wick and essentially does nothing for the rest of the match. And then he goes in the final and he just hammers him. Hammers him.
yeah, I mean, it just hammers him. I mean, and this is what we haven't seen happen to Joseph too often. He's lost a
Never,
number of
I want to
matches
say
throughout his
never.
career.
Even the Imar, I mean, I'm trying to remember all the Imar matches, but I want to say
I've never seen him kind of get his butt
they were
kicked.
all
He got his butt
close,
kicked,
right? Against Imar. I mean, wrestled him 6 times, obviously beat him twice, but I want to say all
I
the
mean, what
losses were close.
yeah, what impressed me about Marinelli was he repeatedly used the post to it wasn't a true penetration, right? He was
It
posting
was
and
more
just
like yeah, I don't know what you call it, more of a drop, kind of.
drop more like a knee slide, like penetrating with his hips as opposed to
Yeah, it's
penetrating with his lead
yeah, so
leg,
he just drops. He doesn't. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I know what you're saying. I
which
wish I
what
could get up and just demonstrate here, but there's not enough room. I'd have to way zoom out.
which when he's dropping what I saw there, what was giving Joseph problems when he was dropping his hips and sliding his hips through, there was no separation between Marinelli's hips and Joseph's hips for Joseph to get his baseline defense
Well,
set.
usually,
And that's where he's so dangerous, right? He
yes.
gets separation between the guy's hips and chest and he just
Well,
buries people.
what I
But there
would
was
say, Matt, is the adjustment that Vincenzo would have to make is that I think he underestimated the power that Marinelli has. And there's just some guys that are so strong that it's like you can't let them get there. You let them get there, they're going to win. So you can't let them get there. I think that's as simple as it is.
Yep.
I mean, I think he being Vincenzo is so strong that usually when people get in those type of positions, it's not really a big deal for him to shake him off, because he is obviously super powerful with his hips. But that just is not the case in this
and
situation.
and he didn't where he's all Joseph has always shown the ability to escape, steal victory out of the jaws of
Yes.
defeat, where it looks like he's dead to rights, and all of a sudden he pulls something out, whether it's his inside trip, outside trip, whatever he does. He tried those things, but those just look like acts of desperation in this match. Like there was no way when he tried that inside trip that he was going to get it.
Yes.
It was the only thing that he had left at his disposal.
You're talking about in the third
way
period. Because in
Yeah.
that second period, Marinelli hits that, we'll call it single leg, high crotch duck under, whatever you want to call it, kind of that knee drop, and locks him up. But that's where I thought Vincenzo could have turned down, but instead he tries like driving and bridging through it, and he's just not used to a person having that much power. And you got to make that recognition. This is what I love so much about wrestling, Matt, right? Is that it's kind of like a chess match, but there's a timeliness component to it. It's not like you can sit and think about it. And there's a physical component to it. So you got to make all these decisions in real time. But what kind of tools does my opponent have? What kind of power do they have? And then how do I have to react to that? And you have to make all of that in a split second while someone's trying to take you to your back. And Vincenzo Joseph should have turned to his freaking belly, gave up 2 points, and called it a day.
Yeah.
So I love it. Yeah. I mean,
that is, and I know we were having a good back and forth on Saturday night after the semifinals, but that's the best Marinelli I've seen.
That one.
That
one match. That one match. Because he didn't look good in the semis, Matt. You're not going to convince me of that. Evan Wick. Evan Wick gets taken down with. Let's see. I'm going to Google the exact time. Okay, he got taken down 49 seconds into the first period. So there's 6 minutes, 11 seconds left in the match. And Marinelli gets called for stalling only twice in the rest of the match and literally did nothing for the next 6 minutes, 11 seconds. I mean, the ride he puts on, Matt, and I kind of hate, and I've alluded to this before that I hate this, because there's so many rules now, rear standing, dropping to the leg. Everything else is not stalling. Like Alex Marinelli for 2 minutes, 11 seconds is on top, doesn't do anything, doesn't break Evan down, doesn't get close to a turn, doesn't get called for stalling because he's not rear standing or on the leg. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, if it's good enough,
it's just ridiculous.
It's good enough for you, 25 to call hands to the face. It's good enough for Marinelli at 165. He's playing by the rules of the game.
But no, right? I'm saying, here's what I'm saying.
At 25, you got to play by the rules of the game, and he's got to wrestle, like it or not. Marinelli knows he has to wrestle a certain way against Wick.
Yeah, but on top. Here's what I'm saying. The referees, there is no, Matt, this is not stalling. All there is right now is this is stalling. And so by default, what the referees are doing is saying, because this is labeled as stalling, then anything else is not stalling. Well, that's simply not the case. In the rule book, no.
That's Marinelli.
No, because in the rule book.
It's Marinelli being smart enough to know the rules and how the refs are going to call it.
In the rule book, it also says that a lack of action or a lack of moving action forward is also stalling. It is. Right?
But clearly the refs aren't enforcing that aspect.
Let me ask you this.
They're clearly not enforcing that aspect of stalling, and the wrestlers know that. So
that's not totally true, Matt.
We're calling the situation.
That's not totally true. Okay, let's flip these roles. Say that the exact scenario that happened in the end of the first period, the whole just not really doing anything. Say that happens, and Alex Marinelli is the guy on bottom, and we're in Iowa City, or we're in Stillwater, or we're in State College, or we're in Columbus, and there's a home crowd. That referee is calling stalling multiple times. But
we're not talking about that. I'm saying about the Big Ten.
No,
tournament.
I'm saying how the rules are called should not be applicable based on what the crowd is saying, and that's what's happening right here.
And I'm with you. I agree with that, but that's not going to be the case.
Stop.
That's not going to be the case.
Oh, you're being so ridiculous right now. And then in the second period, he essentially lays on bottom. He gets close to an escape one time. And he just, the one that, I got kind of roasted on this on Twitter. Well, not roasted. People got upset about me. Is like, because listen, I know wrestling really well. I could tell when a guy has double legs in, when the bottom guy's actually trying to get away and when he's not. And so when the bottom guy's like grabbing hands up by his face, when his hips aren't really moving, he's not trying to get away. You can't fool me. Call the man for stalling.
Okay, I get you. I hear where you're coming from, and I really like Wick a lot. I love this debate because I'm a big Marinelli fan. I really love Wick too. But if you're Wick and you're Bono and the coaching staff, tell them to figure out how to get a takedown against Marinelli.
No, I agree. I mean, listen, I'm not saying
right.
Listen,
take him down.
But listen, I'm not talking.
Force Marinelli to wrestle a different.
I got my spectator hat on right now, not my coach's hat.
And I get it, and that's the thing. Like right now, Marinelli Wick hasn't forced Marinelli to adjust. Marinelli has kind of wrestled the same match the last 2 times, and you've had the same complaint.
Yes.
But force him to make an adjustment. Take him down, force Marinelli to make an adjustment.
Okay, I agree. Massa, Logan Massa also looks really good. Man, this bracket was really good. Matt, we're gonna run way long on time. But so actually 74, not that great. So and either's 97. So maybe we'll get some time back. In the consolations, let's just run through these matches really quick because there was a whole bunch of good ones. So Evan Wick beats Isaiah White in a crazy overtime match. Isaiah White also had a really good tournament, finishes in 5th place. And then Logan Massa beats Evan Wick for 3rd place. And Logan looked really good in his match against. He was looking good against Vincenzo also. It was only 3-2 when he got pinned. So there's that. And so now you got Marinelli, Joseph, Massa, Wick. I think Wick likely stays seated ahead of Massa at Nationals because Massa he now has 5 losses.
He's got more outliers than Wick.
Yeah, and Wick really
Wick's losses,
he has 4 losses, 3 of which are to Marinelli, who's the number 1. So I actually think Shields and Marsteller both win their conference, so I think Wick might get bumped down to 4, which I don't think he hates because he gets to wrestle Marinelli again. I think that's a match he can win. So I think you'd go one of those, maybe Shields or Marinelli bumped up. I'm sorry, Shields or Marsteller bumped up, and then you're gonna have
go ahead. Let me ask you this, Ben, out of curiosity. If you're Wick, put yourself in Wick's shoes. Would you prefer the opponent that you have?
I'd prefer Marinelli because every time he's wrestling him, I feel like, golly, if they just call freaking stalling this Marinelli, which I don't know why they don't, he can win the match because the other thing it does is it would force Marinelli to do more, right? And if Marinelli does more, I think that favors Wick. So, yeah, I think that's where we're going.
Yep, I think you're right.
So okay, let's go. 74, Amin, and this bracket is not nearly as good as the last one. You got Amin and Mark Hall. Dylan Lighty actually wrestles Miles Amin really tough in the semifinals, 6-5 match. Then I don't know. Mark Hall.
Scat's
got a great tournament too. You're right.
Heck of a tournament.
Man.
Yeah, really, really good.
So you're gonna go Mark Hall over Miles Amin 3-2 every single time, right?
Every
time. What the hell? How can someone beat someone 3-2 that many times? Okay. And Mark Hall's the undefeated number 1 at Nationals. Miles Amin is,
and he breaks out the recorder.
I didn't get that. What is there a joke behind this that I didn't understand? Okay, I'm late to the party.
I know there's going to be some haters on this, but I guess there's something. Flo called out Mark Hall to play a recorder. He had played a recorder in high school, and
what does a recorder mean exactly? I'm sounding like a freaking old guy now.
Those little flute things, right? That you get in elementary school when you're first playing in music class. Like you blow into it, and you got those little holes that your fingers control the notes with.
Oh.
But anyways, I think Flo said something to the extent, if you play that at your postseason match, we'll contribute something to Thon. For people that aren't aware of what Thon is,
I don't know what Thon is.
Thon is the largest philanthropic student-run organization in the world. It's run by the Penn State student body. I think they raise $6 million plus a year to fight pediatric cancer. So I know there were some people that were getting on Hall and giving him some business for doing that, but it was actually for a good cause.
Okay. Well, see, I didn't know. I'm glad you filled me in because I did not know any of that at all. So nice.
And sometimes, you know what? We can't take ourselves too seriously. I know people get in the moment about, what the stage should look like at Big Tens, but I kind of give Hall some credit. Like he was doing something for a bigger cause, which you have to respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Mark Hall. Okay, good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thanks for filling us in, Matt. Getting us hip to what's going on. And who knows? Maybe our audience is hip to that, and I just wasn't. I missed that part. Okay, cool. 84. I guess Miles is just so good. Smashes everybody. And this was generally speaking, pretty damn good bracket. Shakur doesn't wrestle in the finals. I don't like it. Shakur wrestled 2 matches previous to that. Like I said, I thought he looked really good. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go. What do you want to talk about? I'd like to be talking about the Miles versus Shakur match, but we can't be talking about that.
Yeah, I guess you talk about the decision to pull him in the finals. You know, we talked a little bit last night. My thinking was maybe Penn State needed to show that Rashid was good enough to warrant the number 2 seed. I think if he defaults out before the finals, I think he gets dropped down. And
so all you're saying is just drop down not to number 4, because that's where they don't want to be, right? So you got
right. They don't want to be a number 4.
Zavatsky wins conference. Price wins Max Dean beat Price. Yeah, I mean, and Shakur still has no losses, although he hasn't beat anybody. I mean, the only guy he's beat is Taylor Venz, and Venz has now 7 losses on the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is where
this is an effing disaster for the seating committee.
Yeah, I think this is where Penn State made that decision. Like, look, if we put it in the seating committee's hands, and you can say
it's still a disaster, Matt. It's still a disaster.
Yeah, I think they felt like he's got to at least make the finals to at least give the argument. They're probably satisfied with the number 3. They don't care about the number 2, but they don't want to fall to number 4. So I think in the position, knowing that he doesn't have a quality body of work, he showed that he's at least physically capable of making it to the number 1 guy in the country. And then,
yeah,
you know, my thinking is they felt inclined that they had
I could see them honestly. Okay, tell me who Shakur's beat right now. Okay, let's go through this lineup. 1, Miles Martin. He's not beating him. Has he beat Zavatsky? No. Renan? No. Price? No. Venz, he's beaten. Max Dean, he is not. Parker, no. Bonacorsi, no. Colbray, no. Foster, no. He beat Wilkie, correct? No, they didn't wrestle.
Yes. Did he?
No, they didn't wrestle.
No. You're right.
D. Perez, no. I mean, he's literally beaten 1 guy in the top 15. Holy crap, Matt. Holy crap. Holy crap. Oh, man, this is a seeding disaster.
Yeah, I think sometimes Big Ten guys are unduly penalized for being hurt, and people assume just because they're going to be in the Big Ten conference, they're going to see a lot of quality opponents. He didn't get this opportunity. When he's been healthy, he's wrestled very, very well, right? He's undefeated.
Yeah.
So when on the one hand, you got to look at it that he hasn't beat a lot of guys, but on the other hand, when he's been healthy, he's beaten everybody he's wrestled. So,
damn.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Okay, let's go 197. Nickel just a lot better than Moore. Doesn't pin him this time. I don't know. There's not a lot else exciting here, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, it was a different game plan. I know during the week leading up, Moore said he wasn't going to change his strategy, wasn't going to change his tactics, but clearly he's like, okay, what if I wrestle the more conservative route? Am I going to give myself an opportunity? Because it looked like in match 1, if he opened it up and just wrestled toe to toe with Nickel, it's probably not going to turn out too well. It seemed like he tried to shut things down, wrestle things a little closer in this match. It didn't change. It just made it closer, right?
Yeah, just made it closer. I don't think he's got the goods to beat Bo Nickel, which, well, not a lot of people do.
No.
Okay, let's go ahead. Last one, heavyweight, Matt. And then I got my workout. I'm gonna be way late too, but it's all good because we got so much to talk about. Heavyweight was awesome, just awesome.
Holy cow! Would you say that heavyweight could be the best weight class of the tournament? I know that's probably a stretch.
I say really you're insane. Match. I say, well, at the Big Ten or at the Nationals?
Big Ten. There's just a lot of great
there was matches. I say no, just because 33 and 65 were so good, but
Yep.
I mean, yeah, this was awesome. I mean, you got Stoll, Stevenson in the quarters, which I thought would be a bigger blowout. I mean, you got Hamida Paris first round, and Yusuf Hamida loses to Mason Paris and then wrestles all the way back to third place, Matt. I think he won 6 matches. I mean, good God, that's a hell of a wrestleback right there.
Stones for him, man.
Seriously.
He just kept picking guys off. Tough match after tough match. I mean, 4 tough matches in a row to come back for third?
Well, let me go to the consolations and look at it. He beats Douche Rekal, he beats Chase Singletary, he beats Jacob Abbott, he beats Conan Jennings, and he beats Trent Hilger. Wow. I mean, that's a hell of a wrestleback right there.
Wow.
Mason Paris kind of takes it on the chin. You know, after beating Hamida first round, he loses to Dalton. Dalton. What is Jensen's first name? Dustin? Darren?
David.
David. Okay, David. I'm way off. Yeah. He loses to Conan Jennings in a wild match and loses to David Jensen. I think the story of this bracket though is Gable losing to Kassar. I thought it was a great match. I kind of was on the Gable's going to go undefeated train. Kassar looked good. I don't know how you see this bracket at Nationals because Kassar lost to White. White lost to Stevenson. Stevenson lost to White lost to Stevenson. So it's a kind of a 3-man round robin there. I think you're going to go with recency. I think you're putting Kassar number 1, White and Stevenson number 2. Agree, disagree? What do you think?
I agree. It's hard not to argue with that. Like you said, recency, Big Ten title. There's got to be weight on that.
Yep.
Phenomenal match though.
Awesome.
Wow, really, really good match.
Yeah, I agree. So, you know, I thought I'll tell you, I thought it was over when Stevenson got that takedown third period. I thought, hey, this is a done deal. Stevenson's got great defense, great reattacks. I just didn't think that Kassar was going to be able to get to him. And sure enough, sets it up, shoots, fires, finishes, rides him out for the win. Very impressive.
And he did such a good job on that finish to get Stevenson's feet moving, right?
Yep.
I thought that was the key. Once he got to the leg, typically Gable's able to insert his
great hips, kind of like we talked about Vincenzo. Great hips.
Yep. But great adjustment by Kassar to get Stevenson's feet moving on that finish, and coming through there.
Yeah, so who knows? This is gonna be interesting because if they put Derek White number 1, you got Gable and Kassar. That's a disaster. I don't think you can. Gable can't go number 1, is what I'm saying. It's either Kassar or Derek White, one of the two.
Well, that's the thing. I think we're going to, and I don't know if we'll be able to have a preview show on the seeds, but
I think hopefully,
despite what everybody says, there is some bias in the seeding. As much as they want to go by numbers, by criteria, and have a strict formula, there is a sliver of bias that you can introduce to these things. So you're not going to see a guy that's going to be number 2 go number 8, but these 3, 4, 5, 6 ranges. There could be some interesting things that play out here.
Absolutely. All right, Matt, we are going to be back talking about the rest of the conferences, probably talking about seeding implications. But the Big Ten was fantastic. I got it thankful. You know, people bag on Flo and they don't give him credit, man. I was watching the 4-screen thing. I watched almost all the matches. It was fantastic. I loved it. The crowd was awesome. Oh, hey, listen, I talked about all the times I put my foot in my mouth on this show, Matt. I want to talk about you guys giving me some credit on one thing I called. And when I said this, I said, when the NCAA ticket prices go up, and because people want to go, so many people want to go, there's a huge demand for that. It's going to siphon off to everything else. The Big Ten's was sold out, Matt. It was sold out. Huge. It was packed. Huge. It was awesome. Boom.
Yeah, big props.
Big
like
deal.
Great attendance throughout the country, but huge. I don't think the Big Ten's ever sold
I don't think
out
so.
Ever.
It was sold out every session. And that crowd was rowdy. They loved it. They were jacked up. Yes. All right, I got to go. That's it, Matt. We went way over time. We will talk to you next time.
Cool. We'll see you, Ben.